It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey everybody, what's happening? It's showtime, the Geno Jones Showtime. I am coming to you live. It is November 1st, Friday, 96 days until Election Day ends. Tell everybody to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free. Subscribe, share, screen grab, rip some of the video, make it go viral. Tell as Nelly would say, everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Like, share, screen grab, rip the video, binge watch all my back episodes, and please, or in my James Brown voice, please, I had to hit a button, y'all. That's why I was leaning up. Please make sure that you leave your comments in my comment section. So my normal start times and days are Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So 6:30 up in New York City, in Philly, Pennsylvania, Philly, Pittsburgh, stand up. Charlotte, North Carolina, we're going to make this thing happen. We're going to turn North Carolina blue. Like, you already got the colors, Carolina blue, so we're going to really make Carolina blue. Shout out to ATL, Georgia. I know Georgia's going to stand up, even down in Miami, Florida, Orlando, where my Puerto Rican brothers are. Yeah, you see how those folks are? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you the N-word too, like we are. That's how that cult works. Chicago, 5:30 p.m. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, stand up. Let's bring it home. Let's turn it blue. Memphis, Tennessee, down there in New Orleans. We really got to turn Louisiana blue. That's going to be a little more work, but they got the numbers. Now, West Coast, live in Los Angeles, California, you know it's going to be blue. 3:30 p.m. San Francisco Bay Area, up in Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, where my firstborn daughter, congratulations, she produces Nike ads. As a matter of fact, for the World Series in Nike, the Los Angeles Dodgers celebration, that was my daughter, Miss Lauren Shiana Hill, so congratulations. So ladies and gentlemen, we got 96 hours, roughly 96 hours, until we really start we will really start knowing that Vice President Kamala Harris is going to be president-elect. I am speaking it into existence. My grandmother said, Jeannie, name it and claim it. And in honor of that, I said, you know what? I need two brilliant, beautiful, dynamic, charismatic, super smart, intelligent, down-to-earth sisters, black women, accomplished on the show. So who better than to have my number one guest co-host? I know that Regis had Kathy Lee, and James had Florida, and Howard Stern had Robin Quivers, but ain't none of them have Keela Carson, and former state representative for the state of South Carolina, working with the city of Hollywood, South Carolina. She is multi-talented, trust me, and a mom, an author, Nicole Spencer, but her real name, as you see on camera, Crystal Matthews. Keela Carson, Crystal Matthews. Hello, ladies.
Hello, Geno.
What up, Key? Oh, I'll mute your mic, Key.
You're on mute.
Oh, I'm just talking.
It's all good.
Hi, Crystal. Hi, Geno.
So the last time I had you ladies on the show, it was so dynamic. And just going into this weekend, like I just said, we got 96 hours before we start really knowing what's going down. And I'm feeling I'm feeling great, to be honest. I don't want to use, because I don't want folks to be overconfident, okay? Because this cult, remember the Ghetto Boys had that song, Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. They trying to play tricks on your mind. They playing in your face. Yes, they trying hard, but what they don't understand is this is a whole different generation. We are not our grandparents, and we love our grandparents and great-grandparents, but we coming with different energy. I'm just saying, just be forewarned that, it's a different day. So I'm just saying, it ain't 1921, it's 2024. So
Exactly.
just please
Yeah.
understand that. Please understand that if we don't send for you, don't try to come for us, because if you come for us, we're gonna send your ass back where you came from, and then you're gonna say, "Damn, why did I do that?" So, but ladies, I'm really feeling. I am feeling good. You know why? One of the reasons I've been looking at all the early voting data, and
Mhm.
I have to take a bow to y'all. The women are showing up and showing out. I think
Yeah, and
I think some of these men, they effed around and found out. What?
well, and Gino, I think that you're gonna find more women. I'll go into detail about that after you finish, but
Okay.
I think more women than you believe are going to show up, and we'll talk about
Well,
why.
no, I'm opening it up right now. This
Oh,
is
okay.
part of my monologue. So Key, I wanna update my viewers because there was no live show yesterday, but an incident happened. I guess it was a couple days ago. Uh, Orangeburg, South Carolina is only about 45 minutes from where I'm standing in my studio here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro. Key, did you? Now I sent you. I did send you the video on Facebook. Did you see the viral video?
You're talking to me,
Yeah,
yes.
you saw it. So they were
Yeah.
like, because
Horrific.
yes, because there was someone tagged Crystal and myself, and she tagged some other people. So you had, I think it was like 4 African American women poll watchers, and Mr.
Mhm.
Mr. Mr. MAGA Trailer Park comes in there with this Trump MAGA camouflage hat on. Old
I
gray
have a
beard
feeling that
ass.
he knew.
Now,
He,
here's my
he
thing,
knew.
and ladies, I'm gonna toss it to you all. This dude looked like somebody's great grandpa, like Jiminy Cricket or somebody. So I'm assuming, and it's safe to assume, that his decrepit looking ass has been voting for years. And so I know that he had to understand nowhere in America can you go into a polling place,
Right.
into a voting booth with any type of political advertising, statement, sign. None of you can't even take your.
Nothing.
They don't even want you to take your phone in there. You got to have your phone cut off. So this
Mhm.
dude went in with he had the energy. He was looking for a confrontation. So, Crystal, you got an update for us on with that
So
situation?
the update is that currently the lady poll worker has been issued a citation for assault and battery. But I know, right?
Me and
I
Keela at
think
the same time was
has
like, huh? What?
everybody
What?
has the same amount of shock. I am definitely in shock. When I watched the video, of course, I watched it like 20 times and scrolled in, and it looked like he poked her in the forehead to me. That's to
Yes.
me. But she received a citation immediately for assault and battery. She did not get arrested or locked up or anything like that, but she does have a citation. And currently, the Sheriff Leroy Ravenel from Orangeburg, put a statement on the Orangeburg County Sheriff's page on Facebook, and said it was, of course, a continuing investigation and that they are still, it's ongoing. I just don't know how you would charge one party and not the other, if at all. I mean, it's very clear that he came in there for a confrontation. He clearly could see the signs posted, and his energy just said he was already coming and looking for some spice. So I believe, hopefully, that this will pan out. Sheriff Leroy is an African American male
Oh, he is.
sheriff.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah. So I hope that this is not a situation where we have to really show up and show out. But if we need to, I believe the call to action is definitely there.
Yeah. So you said Leroy Hamilton,
Ravenel.
Ravenel, Leroy Ravenel. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
Ravenels here. So he's probably got some kin folks down here that we know. So, brother
And I
Ravenel, we're gonna need to holler at you. We're just saying we're gonna need to holler at you and have a conversation. We got. I don't have the woman's name. Crystal. Did they post it in the paper?
No, they didn't release
I'm
their
glad they
names.
didn't.
They
Yeah.
didn't release her
Well, I
name
want to
or
support.
his.
Yeah, I think that we should really support this sister and rally around her and make sure that she's covered in a
I
lot of
mean,
different ways.
poll workers a lot of people don't realize that poll workers, they get this nominal fee daily for working the polls, but it's
Yeah.
really a volunteer job that you sign up for. And I was gonna say, when you mentioned, about black women showing up and showing out, you know, this is an instance where we also need our black men and just men in general, even if they're not black, right? We need men also showing up and showing out, not only to vote, but to work these polls. I think that for me, I feel like poll working has fallen into the same category as jury duty. When
Right.
it's you under the fire, it's important, but when it's not you, everybody's trying to give it to somebody else. And I think this is an instance where we're seeing now, that is so important that we have male energy in those polling places for instances like this. Though I think those
Yeah.
women did the best they could, because I definitely don't think I would have been a poll worker after that day myself. But I think they did a really good job. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, he called her a bitch to her face, like,
Right. And MF.
like point blank range. And yeah, I was like, whoa, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what did we call it back in the day when we were kids? Instigating.
Yes.
He was
Mm,
he was instigating an event.
mm-hmm.
And um we're always, because it goes to that angry black woman crap. We're always uh, uh approached with this microaggression or overt aggression, and then when we respond to it, we're the
Mm-hmm.
problem. And
Correct.
so
I,
I really hope they get it right when they look at the tape, or when they start questioning other posters in the building for that day, of what happened, that there will be some justice and some fairness, because you can't allow people to poke you and poke at people and then wonder why they pop off.
yeah,
Well, he
we're
popped
asking
off,
them to
Key.
have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Krista. Finish your thought.
No, go ahead, Gina.
No, I was just
We're
saying.
we're we're asking them for an exceptional amount of patience in a situation where they really shouldn't have to worry about
Yes.
instances like that. People are coming to vote and leave, and so we're asking now that they all of a sudden have this enormous amount of patience. It's frustrating when the machines don't act right. It's frustrating when people come and they're not sure what they have to have, and they don't. But when you're talking about somebody bringing their own personal biases into a place with this aggression on top of it, I just feel like we're asking a lot of people who are volunteering their time to do a public service. And I think that for years, we have, just kind of taken for granted this role. And I think this is going to set a really important precedent on how they handle this. I think this is really going forward. Even the after is going to be important to see how Orangeburg handles this, because they are front and center across the nation right now in the news. And I think this is going to be important, because if not, I think we're going to see more and more of this the closer we get to Tuesday.
So let
Well,
me just say, let
yeah,
me.
we absolutely cannot have this. And Gino, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off,
you're
but
fine.
we absolutely
Finish your thought.
cannot have this. Um, because the poll workers should not be in the position of even chastising anybody. They should be there to make sure everybody gets their
Yep.
ballots and knows where to submit it, and check your address, your license, or whatever the official business is. When it comes to saying, "Hey, Mister with the Trump hat on," you can't have that. You can vote, but you have to take that off. We need security to say that. So we're going to
Mhm.
have to start looking at some different guidelines when we are looking at our voting places in the future and for next week.
Well, let me
Because
say this. Finish
yeah.
your thought, Key, because I.
No, I was just saying, because of this event, you know how people are, they're copycatters. Let's go in and start some mess.
Well,
You know,
I'm just picking up
want to
on
be starting something,
right.
as Michael Jackson says.
I'm picking up on your energy and Crystal's energy. So let me just say this, and you know, I don't care. I don't give a damn who gets mad. First of all, to Sheriff Ravenel, look, I'm not upset with you. You had no idea this energy was coming in the building like that, but you kind of should have known. So what's done is done. But not only am I name checking Sheriff Ravenel, I'm name checking every sheriff we have. Crystal, how many counties do we have in South Carolina?
46.
46. So probably every county has their own sheriff's department. And more important, Governor McMaster up in Columbia, I'm calling your ass out too. You need to make sure you need to have a conversation. You need to talk to your people. You know, get your boy, talk to your people and say what we're not gonna do, because voter intimidation is illegal to begin with. So let's start there. And
Right.
it's just no excuse. So key to your point and to Crystal's point, why wasn't there law enforcement there at the poll? Because that incident went on for like a couple minutes, and the black women had to turn into like the damn security.
Right. And she should never have been in that.
Not just her co-workers. I'm watching the video. They're like getting this. Why are they escorting it? Where the hell was the police officer or sheriff's officer? They were the ones that were supposed to take his ass out of there.
Okay, so let me add some insight, because I have seen this argument over and over again. So police or peace officers are not allowed in polling places except for if they're voting or if they've been summoned.
Really?
So because they look at it as intimidation, because it could be intimidation,
okay,
right?
That's a good point.
Okay, Crystal, can they have security? Unarmed security, something.
Okay, so no, they can't. But what they can do, and what I have seen a lot of sheriffs saying after this incident now has happened, is that they will have an officer in the area, in the immediate in the immediate area. So if they are directing traffic, they can direct traffic. They can do all of those things, but they can't be within a certain just like when you're campaigning, right?
Really? I didn't know that, Crystal. So
because they're in uniform. You don't know who they're voting for, but they could be very well standing there in line, saying whatever they want.
No, that's an excellent point. So let me ask, is that like a state law in South Carolina, or is that a federal law?
So I think that's a state law. I think it varies by state, but I think a lot of states have adopted that rule. And if we're honest with ourselves as African Americans, a lot of us don't trust the police, and we could see that as intimidation.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
It makes sense. But I do like that I'm seeing people saying, hey, we're going to have an officer in a car, in the immediate vicinity. That way, if they call, it's not as long a response time, and that they can get there fairly quickly. I think, again, we are going to have to start looking at our legislatures. No matter where you are, you're going to have to start examining these things, because, as you said, Geno, the lady tagged me in the video, and what I put for my tagline was "Thank a Republican." They have had a trifecta here in South Carolina for over the last 20 years. So that means any laws that have been passed for voting have been done by them. So they're saying you can't wear paraphernalia. They're saying that you can't do certain things. They changed. I was there when the law got changed to the 500 feet rule versus what it used to be. So again, we like to get on and we like to talk about, how things are going awry, and Republicans love to talk about voter fraud and intimidation and all this other stuff. But honestly, they're creating the rules that we have to abide by. And so it's like, wait, make sure you blame the right people. This man was mad that he couldn't wear his Let's Go Brandon hat, but his fellow colleagues are the ones who actually support not wearing paraphernalia at the polls. And that's why I love to come on your show. That's why I love to get on Facebook and go on my little rants, because I'm trying to teach people, where the root of the issue is, instead of worrying about somebody influencing vote by handing out water and snacks. Here it is now. You've gone so far that there's no security for the workers who volunteer. Whether
Yeah.
they're white, black, Republican, or Democrat does not even matter. These folks are volunteering.
Hey, Crystal,
They're
let's go
getting
up to
paid.
Michigan. I want to run up to Michigan, Miss Keela Carson. So now you're there on the ground. Now,
Yeah. Trump is he just left Macomb Community College around the block from my house.
really? He was that close to the crib?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Did you have to spray or pour some bleach? Did you have did you have to inject some Lysol and
Yeah, I mean it's getting I wouldn't say ugly in terms of violence, but the battle of the lawn signs in my neighborhood is, I mean, you see a Vance Trump sign, and then a Kamala a Harris
Walz.
and Waltz sign pops up across the street or next door. And so I've never seen signage like this in my neighborhood. People do what they do, but they usually, don't display it. But it is on display this go around. And I keep trying to remind people that I live in Macomb County. That's the county that gave Trump the election in 2016.
But
Here
in
in Michigan.
2020, did Biden win Macomb County in 2020, Key?
I'm not sure, Geno, but he won the state, but I'm not sure if he won Macomb County. I don't think he did.
Okay.
And also Macomb County is typically votes Democratic.
Okay, Democrat. Okay, right. Crystal, go ahead. What are we getting ready to say?
Now, remember, also in Michigan, Key, y'all have a poll worker in 2020, Miss Barton.
Yeah.
She was threatened.
Yep.
Her family and her was threatened at her home.
Yep.
And that guy did go to prison. He got locked up. But I mean, these folks again are just doing they're not influencing your vote. They're just simply facilitating your vote. Right. Like she said, where to put it in the machine, which way to face it, which way to turn it. And so she was threatened to the point, her and her family, where he had to go to prison for that. I mean, like, this is becoming a real issue. And, I understand what people say, but again, the first people you call when you have trouble is either fire or police, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's sticky because a lot of the police officers that we know and some that we love are a part of the Fraternal Order of Police. And that is a rank and file system. And so a lot of them do lean Republican. And so when you talk about having them in the voting place, this is, again, the conundrum that your legislators have to deal with. And so I think it's important that we understand all aspects of this as we kind of move forward, and we're seeing this play out in real time.
Well, thanks for the education, Crystal, on that, because I didn't. I've seen, like, I've gone to polling places and I've seen like a police car or police outside. Like when you drive up, you may see them. But I didn't think. But now, you know what though? I remember one time I could have sworn I saw a police officer. One time I voted in North Charleston, a police officer that was inside the actual, because I used to vote, well, I still do. Now, early voting, I go to like this main headquarters, this main location, like voting headquarters. But my polling place, because I've been here about a year and a half, it's a school. I used to vote at one school before for the like 8 years. I was living in another area of North Charleston. And I could have sworn that I saw a police officer just kind of standing off in the back in the corner, but I could have sworn I saw a police officer in that school while people were voting, Crystal. So I don't know.
And again, it varies, but okay. I really think they could set it up like how, I don't know, some Walmarts used to have like this little closeted area that you couldn't really see. And they were behind that. I think that's also an option, right? They're not visible to the public, but they are on site.
I like that.
I think that's.
I like that too.
Yeah, but
And Gino, I would challenge, because we mentioned at the beginning of the show, our Black men, our men of color, to become more involved in the process. Because when you go to your polling location, your voting location, it's usually a woman, whether they're Black, white, or other. It's predominantly women, and
Or seniors, women
yeah,
and seniors.
yep, and seniors.
Yeah.
So I would challenge my Greek brothers and sisters in the Divine Nine. Brothers, you got to step up and start volunteering, because sometimes, like Crystal said, if we can't get armed officers or even unarmed security, sometimes just having male presence is a deterrent for craziness.
Oh no, I agree. But let me say this in all fairness, because my grandmother was a poll worker for years in Chicago, and traditionally, for whatever reason, I don't have the answer. I'm not even going to try to speculate. Even in Chicago, traditionally, the poll workers were mostly women.
Yeah.
And or seniors. You may see some older guys, but I don't like nobody's really made the call to action like Crystal has, because it wasn't it. We're living in what we're living through right now. This hadn't happened. We're talking about damn near 100 years. The Jim Crow era. This is the shit that was happening back in the 20s and 30s. Here it is, 2024. So, I mean.
I think another thing to keep in mind, Gino, is that it's early voting. So that means these folks are going to poll places that may not be their usual poll places. And so that also means running, like for me, I know who my poll workers are up the street from me because I go there to vote, right? But if you're voting early, you're typically going to a location that may not be your normal location.
No, you're right.
People that folks are familiar with, and so you run into all these variables that just kind of make the perfect storm, right?
Well, going forward,
people.
Crystal made the call to action, because trust me, brothers would definitely would have showed up and showed out, but we didn't. It's like, damn, y'all doing this, So, but keys
and it's
Go ahead, Crystal.
Go ahead, Crystal.
There's no slight to the brothers here for me.
Oh no,
right?
I know you're not.
I think it's something that most people don't even think about.
That's my point.
You know what I mean? It's an afterthought.
Like I said, I grew up. My grandmother for years, I watched. She was a poll worker. So, and my grandfather was in the house, but and I remember. As a matter of fact, she wasn't. She was older, so she wasn't a poll worker because she got older and, mobility and had health issues. But I remember the first time I was able to vote in Chicago, Harold Washington, ran for mayor and won. The majority of the poll workers were Black women. I mean, I lived in a predominantly African-American neighborhood, but so it's just, that's what I'm kind of used to seeing. So you make a great point, Crystal, that going forward, we're going to have to, just come with some different energy and say, hey, listen, some of us gonna need to go ahead and sign up and make sure that there is a presence. Like you said, a lot of times, if a dude, and you could just have that look, because I know how to give people that look, Key, because they'll try to play you. If you dress nice, they're like, oh, you hot your little red so and so. You trust me, don't.
And I would also just like to add some context that it's not just election that bring about women and seniors in terms of volunteerism. Volunteerism is a little niche that women and seniors have had a foothold or stronghold on for many, many years. Those are the people that feed the homeless and do all these other things. So it's not unusual that they would also be the poll workers. But it's just that because of what's going on, I just challenge Black men, but I'm specifically talking to my D9 brothers. There
Yeah.
is no reason. We have so many retired Divine Nine brothers that could do a few hours or whatnot. And so we probably need to put that on our National Panhandling Council agenda
That's a
to
great idea,
start
Key.
looking at.
Yep, that's a great idea.
Because we can't just talk about it. We got to sit down and mobilize so that it's not just, oh, we did this in South Carolina and in Detroit or Michigan. No, we need D9 all across the country to make sure men are volunteering.
Yeah, that's a great
And
point.
so, yeah, we need to bring that up at our, we have local NPHC meetings. And by NPHC, I mean the entire D9, right?
All the
Because
units
we
right now.
operate, it seems like we're all, different, but we operate as a unit.
Yeah, no, you do.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and so we need to bring that up because, but something like this is a wake up call.
It is. I'm just glad the sister didn't get hurt. I'm glad nobody got hurt, but I'm just glad I wasn't at that poll because I probably wouldn't be here doing the show live because y'all have had to, I don't know, Damaris would have been calling, or the word would have got out to Keith. The word would have got out to you and Crystal. They'd have been like, "What happened? He in jail? Up and up? What? What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Well, he's gonna be disappointed on Tuesday when he finds out that all his cousins voted for Kamala.
Yes. Well, listen, I want you to.
Yeah,
Wait, Key. I want Key, Crystal. Key, I want you to talk about Michigan because I've been watching these states and watching the early voting data. Now, what I've seen, but you're there on the ground, so I mean, you can cut through the nonsense because you got to take this corporate media with a grain of salt because they want the drama, they want the season finale and all the drama and have people all anxious and all that. But the early voting data, women have outvoted men in early voting by about 10%?
Yeah.
And the ballots, Democrat to Republican, I saw a number, was it low 50s to like 37?
Yeah, because I mean, Crystal is probably more able to look at this from the big picture, but in general, in Michigan, okay, so I'm gonna stick with Michigan. In general, in Michigan, early voting is Democrat. Okay. Early voting is women. Okay.
Okay.
And right now, here in Michigan, I'm just giving you the temperature. The same women who were voting for Trump the first go around, those women and women who are sneaking have been voting for for Kamala Harris. Now, let me tell you what I mean by sneaking. There is this, and I mean, it's online, it's everywhere, where women whose husbands or mates are voting for Trump, they're saying out loud that they're going to vote for Trump, but they're really voting for Kamala.
Well, she's running an ad, Key. Have you seen the ad yet?
No, I haven't seen
the ad. So there's a guy, straight from Trump's central casting, with a T-shirt with a flag on it. Looked like he doesn't have a good dental plan, and going in there. Well, honey, I know you're gonna vote right. So she goes in, and it's two of them, two women, and two guys, and they go in and they vote, and then when they walk out, the husband, with all the misogyny and sexism and patriarchy. Well, honey, did you vote right? And she said, sure. And then they slapped their I voted sticker on the two women, and then they look at each other and be like, yeah, we voted right.
Yeah, I mean,
you haven't seen that one?
I haven't seen it either, Geno, but I am telling you, because I remember when Trump ran 2016, his first, real run. Kellyanne Conway, his manager at the time, she said, I know that you think people are voting, these women are going to vote for Hillary. But I am telling you, is what she said, that we know that they're going to do something different on election day because they were secretive. Now, when I get to work the next day, the day after the election, a lot of my coworkers, they were all like, "Oh my God, I voted for Trump." And I was like, I could, because some of these people, yes, some of my coworkers, now they were Caucasian women.
Yeah.
But what Kellyanne Conway said is true, was true. Because I had no idea and they weren't acting like it. But then the next day when he won, they were ecstatic. Wow. So all I'm saying is that I think that's happening in reverse.
So you led me to this. So this here's the last question. I'm gonna let you guys get out here on the door, but it's directly related to what you just told me. But I want to get you all's opinion as women. And I know that women's intuition, it's like a spider sense on steroids to the 10th power. 53% of white women voted for Orange Hitler in 2020. Actually, 53, yeah. So more actually voted in 2020 than in 2016 by a point or two. Right. So do you, Keela Carson, do you, Crystal Matthews, do you trust white women to not vote against their own reproductive freedom and health?
No, I think
I do.
Well, I think Crystal is right that you have the pocket that's going to do what they're going to do.
No. I'm saying I trust them not to vote against their own best.
Oh yes, me too. Because I think
he crossed up over several lines.
Yes.
That they just could not stomach any longer.
So talk about Crystal. You and Keith talk about. I have an idea, but I want to get you all. You all are women, so nobody can speak to women's issues better than you can. There's been too much mansplaining, so that's why I got y'all on here. But speak to why you feel that white women finally get that, because I said this on the show. Probably with Key. I know I've said it when you've been on with me, Key. Maybe Crystal. For years, white women thought that their privilege as a white woman would protect them from the patriarchy and misogyny and sexism of their own white men. But unfortunately, after Roe, they effed around and found out that no, your privilege as a white woman, it won't protect you from that patriarchy and misogyny.
Yeah, when you have I mean, it's the abortion laws are for each state. They're across the board for that state. So it doesn't matter if you're Black, you're white, you're Asian, you're Island Pacific. You can't have one, or you can't have one under these conditions, and on and on and on. So when white women started dying, risking their lives, having to have children they didn't want, or
not being able to have children because of what
ended up with different medical conditions, and then the psychological trauma with that.
Good point.
Now you're talking a different thing.
Crystal,
this is a different conversation.
Crystal, the abortion ban in South Carolina, is it 6 weeks or 5?
I think it's still 6.
Okay.
I'm gonna go a completely different direction from y'all on this one. I think that them taking away the secrecy of abortion was a line too far for white women.
Really?
Oh.
Because
now, what do you mean when you say the secrecy? Explain that.
Yeah, I get it.
A lot of states that are enacting these laws, the laws are so strict that you have to give so much information to even begin to get it, right?
Yes.
And I think it's a very private issue. And it was fine as long as it was private. But now that you have to divulge so much in order to even get medical care, and then when you talk about people having to choose between their wife and their child, when you start getting into those things, I think that's a stretch too far for for any woman, but definitely white women. And I also think that they're seeing their healthcare providers leave their areas. And
Yes.
so when you have a black women maybe a little less for that reason, I would say, because we don't necessarily go to the doctor as much as they do, but
Right.
we're getting better. Black folks are getting better. But when it comes to healthcare, we tend to wait and heal ourselves, right? But
Right.
they have always gone to the doctor. They have always sort of kind of had that built relationship. And when you start seeing people who have been a part of your life leaving, when you start talking about, well, in order to have an abortion, you got to give your name, you got to give your, all these things, or you got to travel to another state, and even there, they have to report this, and they have to report this.
And
They have,
Crystal, let me just jump in and ask you a question. I'm sorry, but let me jump in. Some states, aren't they're talking about tracking a woman's menstrual cycle?
yeah, so they're talking about tracking your cycle. They're talking about just really being involved in every facet of something that's private. I mean, when you talk about the amount of people who have miscarriages naturally, because that's even though it feels unnatural when it happens, most women will miscarry at least once. When you
Really?
talk about those things and how
Wow.
and how important it is that you have the ability to have a family in the mental and emotional struggles that you're going to go through just with your family, and now you got to let somebody else into that becomes a lot.
Mm.
It becomes a very very heavy weight to carry. And I think for me, I feel like when white women started, when I would say the majority started kind of changing their language, was when all of these things that would make it, because you could have one anonymously, but now that's all gone. I mean, we're almost moving back to where you need a signature from your husband or your spouse or
Yeah.
whoever, and so when that left, I think it was like, okay, now wait a minute.
Well, I'm glad you gave us that perspective, because I'm sure, because there's layers. There's so many layers to this issue, and that's another layer that I hadn't thought about. So look, I'm gonna close on um, some encouraging news. I guess I don't even know if I should put it this way, but there's been so much misinformation about black men. Latest numbers: 85% of black men say they're gonna vote for Kamala Harris. So that's why I said stop looking at TV. Watch this show. All right, or shout out to my man Roland Martin. Shout out to Clay Kane and Karen Hunter and Greg Carter, the crew on like Sirius XM Urban View. Mm-hmm.
Can I interrupt you for one?
Yes,
No,
please.
you brought something to my mind. I just want to piggyback and say you can't believe the hype. Trump hasn't won an election in 8 years. It's been 2016 was the last thing that he won. And every time he runs for something, they swear he's got the edge. They swear he's going to win. But y'all, it has been 8 years. That's 2 presidential terms since he has actually won anything.
And he lost the
So
popular vote that time by 3 million people. Yep. So let me just say this. So representing specifically the brothers, I can't speak for other men, but I can speak for my community and my culture. And I've talked to enough black men, and I've seen brothers on TV. I saw a little segment on MSNBC, and it really resonated with me. So my main theme this week has been all this bullshit about real men and the manosphere, all that foolishness, as my grandfather would call it. Let me explain to you. There's one thing a real man, there's one thing any real man will stand 10 toes down on, and he wants to do. A real man wants to protect the women in his life. Now I know some women may be watching this and listening and say, "Well, I don't need no man to protect me," but just hear what I'm saying. If you love somebody, you want to protect them. And just a man's instincts, if he truly loves you, if he be it a daughter, a granddaughter, his wife, spouse, or significant other, whatever term they use, his mother, his sisters, those in his circle, a real man the one thing he wants to do is to protect the women in his life. And these abortion bans, not only have they put women's life women have died. I cannot get the image and the story about Amber Nicole Thurman. I always say her name. She was 28 years old. She has a 6-year-old son that is living without his mother, and she couldn't get the procedure, the DNC, basically the same procedure. Now these women will back me up. It's basically the same procedure. If you have a miscarriage or if you're trying to terminate the pregnancy, it's the same procedure. She couldn't get it in Georgia because of an abortion ban. She couldn't even get it in South Carolina. We're right next door because of an abortion ban. All these southern states, outside of Virginia, all these southern states, Confederate states, with an abortion ban. Amber Nicole Thurman could have been Allie, who's turning 23 tomorrow on Saturday. Amber Nicole Thurman could have been Boogie, my daughter in Portland. Amber Nicole Thurman could be my sister. It could be you, Crystal. It could be you, Key. So it's hidden. It's finally hitting brothers different. And I saw a story on MSNBC. There were like two guys in Georgia, I think suburban Atlanta, whose one's wife and one of his girlfriend, they lost them. One brother got 2 boys and he lost his wife because she couldn't get the care she needed. And it was another guy lost I think it was his girlfriend because she couldn't get the care. So when you frame it that way for a man, it's like if you knew that somebody was trying to harm the women that you love, you would do anything. A real man would move hell and high water, would take on an army to protect the women that they love. So if there's no other reason for brothers, for us and you to, because I already voted, for you to go out and vote, you better vote to protect the women that you love, because unfortunately, Amber Nicole Thurman's story could come to your door. So I'm gonna give you all the final word. It's really hitting me different because, like I said, I got daughters and nieces.
Polls in Michigan open up at 7 a.m., close at 8 p.m. We are an important state. Every state is important, by the way. But because of the makeup of our state and the way we swing back and forth with the voting, it is critical that people who have not voted early, which early voting is over now.
Okay, that was my next question. Okay.
Yeah, you've got to get yourself to the poll on Tuesday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It is critical. You cannot sit this out, and take your children with you. I am taking my daughter. She is 24, and she knows she can't live in this house.
Crystal Keeler sounds like you.
It's a date. I mean, we have a date. We're going to go vote, and then we're going to go have lunch.
I love it.
But yeah.
I agree. And I told my son, who is 20, he was kind of on the fence. He didn't want to vote at all. And I knew he wasn't going to vote for Trump, but he didn't want to vote at all. And I told him, what you will not do is give these men 400 plus years of a presidency, and the first time you have to vote for a woman, act like you is just so up in arms about it. I will not have it. I raised you with all this single mama blood and sweat and tears I got, and I won't have it. I will not. There will be a vagina in the White House. Do you hear me? I'm serious. It will be one in the Oval Office chair, and it won't be just to take a picture. We will be there. Yep. All the vagina estrogen juices will be in the Oval Office. Do you hear me? I will be speaking tomorrow in Monk's Corner, Geno, at 2:00. They're having a Souls to the Polls event from 11 to 3:30, 4 o'clock tomorrow in Monk's Corner at the Community Hope Impact Center. That's 212 Cooper Street in Monk's Corner. If you don't have a way to get to the poll, if you're nervous, especially with everything going on about going by yourself, they'll be driving and taking people and getting people to vote early in Berkeley County. So and that's something that other churches and places can mimic. Tomorrow is the last day of early voting here in South Carolina. So please, 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 if you want to vote tomorrow, come out the souls to the polls in Berkeley County. If you need some camaraderie, and I'm telling y'all, come if you're other. If you white, black, Hispanic, Asian,
Yep, come on.
We're gonna love on you because that's what we were raised to do. So we're gonna love on you. We're gonna have some speakers. We're gonna have some food. We're gonna have some music, and we're gonna get people out, and we're gonna get them voting. If you don't get out tomorrow, don't fret. November 5th is still here. You can still go on Tuesday and cast your vote. And if you have a mail-in ballot that you did not use, you can choose to cast in person. You just have to make sure that you return that blank mail-in ballot that you're not going to use. That way, you're not accused of voting twice. And even the folks that got kicked out in Orangeburg will have an opportunity to vote. So their civic duty was not infringed. They will still be able to vote in person on Tuesday at probably their regular polling place, I would assume. But you guys, this has been great. I love it. Always love coming on here talking with you all, some like-minded folks. I really wish that we could have primetime TV. I know you love YouTube, but I need you to get a TV show because we got some things to unwrap.
Well,
and I love teaching.
First of all, y'all been rocking with me since the beginning for 4 years, so I'm glad I got both of you guys on camera so I can personally thank you. Thank you both. I love both of you all. You all are near and dear to my heart. I always tell people DNA don't necessarily make you family. DNA means you just share DNA with somebody else, but that is not what really makes you family. What makes you family is the bond and the spirit, the connection, the sense of purpose, all of that that comes together. Like, as you said, Crystal, like-minded people with a like mind, like spirit, like purpose in terms of wanting to be a vessel, to be a blessing, to uplift our community. You all are 10 toes down with that. So you all are my sisters eternally, and I love you both. But let me say, if you have already voted, take somebody to the polls. Y'all riding around these big old blacked out Suburbans and Yukons, put them to some real good use. Churches, you got those church buses, put them to good use. Go get some people in the neighborhood, Uber and Lyft drivers. Listen, just take one for the team for that, just for that Tuesday. Take some folks to the polls. People maybe, money may be tight for them. They could be seniors on a fixed income, or maybe a single mom or single dad where money's tight. They don't necessarily have the money. Take them to the poll.
Yes.
Bring them home.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for advocating for our folks every day, every week. It's a very thankless job that people don't really know. A lot goes into it. I know that not only is this your livelihood as far as providing for paying for college tuition, which is no joke, by the way, but you definitely go hard for our people, and I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and just elevating me on a platform, elevating our people and our voices and making sure our stories and perspectives get heard, especially when we don't have a lot of Black media. I just want to say thank you for that. I don't know if you go to church, Geno, but Key, I'm going to throw this out here for him. I'm going to alley-oop this. I'm about to give him a task, but I really think Geno could get on a stage somewhere at a church or a Charleston Music Hall or somewhere and throw an event called Happy Black New Year, where we all come together and discuss how we're going to transition going into 2025. In January, it don't have to be January 1st. It could be the end of January. But Happy Black New Year, we could really discuss as a people where we need to go and how we can move, and really having some resources there to help us organize ourselves in that fashion. So anyway, Geno, I'm alley-ooping that to you. But thank you so much.
Well, Crystal, you just spoke it into existence. I haven't necessarily been to church in a minute, but I am truly, God is first and foremost in my life every day that I sign off on this TV show and my radio show. And plus, my mother is watching. So she's like, Crystal, I raised the boy. I made him go to Sunday school and church every Sunday.
Me too, Mama. Me too.
He started smelling himself, became a teenager, thought he That was my grandmother's word. You smelling yourself. So
Well,
listen.
I was thinking, the charge would be lower if you had an affiliation with somebody that would let you use their, just so we could come together and have this discussion. I think we all start off with our personal goals, but I think we need to have some high level goals as well.
Yes.
So let's put it together. I'm serious. I'm committing on camera right here, right now, November 1st. Sign me up. Let's just get a date and a time, and so we can make it work. But I'm in front of all of y'all watching me, my mother, and God is my witness. I love the way that sounds, so I am totally all in. So we can talk later, but whatever I need to do, help to make it happen.
Down. You got the little key.
Yeah. I'll stay with it. We'll tag
matter
team
of fact,
this.
I put some money aside so we can fly. I can fly Key down here. So, but one thing you got to understand about me, and I'm gonna let you guys go. My mother's watching. Conway Jones. My grandparents raised me along. My grandparents raised all of us, including my mom, because she was a relatively young mom. But one of the many pearls of wisdom that Conway Jones taught me, who I shared a bedroom with, because we. On the second floor, 3 bedrooms, 6 people. My mother and my grandmother were in the front bedroom.
Back then.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
My
that
2
was
sisters in the back bedroom, and I had to share the bedroom with my grandfather and his 2 sewing machines. But he would always say, every day, one of his main principles, he would say, Jeannie, your word is your bond. Yeah. Your word is your bond. That means if you give somebody your word, that's it. They should be able to take it like a savings bond. That means your word is bond. Your word has to be good. Full stop. No excuses. He lived it. He didn't talk it. He lived it. I watched it every day. I was blessed to have my grandfather until I was probably close to, I don't know. I know my mother's watching, probably close to 20, maybe 20, 21. My grandfather was almost 100, but your word is your bond. So if I give you my word, it's good as a savings bond. It's a wrap.
Well, next time we see each other, we're gonna have our first female.
All right, so listen. All right, good. So by next Friday, so a week from today, by next Friday, everything should be official. So I want you to. I'm not booking nobody. As a matter of fact, I think I got a guest next Friday. So I'm gonna have to see if I can reschedule them and move them to maybe Thursday, because I want you to. The energy I know is gonna be. I want to get you all's take after next week, because we
are claiming it.
Yeah, name it and claim it.
Name it and claim it.
Gene Jones, who I'm named after. My grandmother said, Jeannie, name it and claim it. You name it and claim it. Speak it into existence. Thank you. Yep. Keela Carson, Crystal Matthews, I love you both. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting me and believing in me. Key was the wind beneath my wings, Crystal, because she worked with me 30 years ago. We were young. She was younger. But she's always been the wind beneath my wings. So I appreciate and love both of y'all. So, hey, go have a great weekend.
Bye, Crystal.
All right.
Bye, Kiki. Bye, Geno.
Bye, Crystal. I love them. They are amazing. 2 brilliant sisters. All right, let me get out of here. On my way, a shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He is celebrating his 1-year anniversary at his new venue. It is it's like a barbering palace. All right, Designer Cuts. He's the CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina Metro, Goose Creek. I'm on my way. They got an event going on now till about 11 o'clock. And then tomorrow, a free haircuts at Designer Cuts here in Goose Creek, South Carolina. That's a hell of a name, Goose Creek, right? It's just one of the surrounding suburbs of Charleston, South Carolina. You can Google Designer Cuts, Goose Creek, South Carolina, from, what did he say? I think 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. All kids' haircuts are going to be on Designer Cuts. That's just Markel's way of giving back to the community that has really supported him and supported me too. So thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Chicago, 3:30 p.m. live in Los Angeles. Tell everybody to subscribe to this channel right here, right now, the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe and share this and every episode. Like this and every episode. Screen grab, rip some of the video from this and every episode, make it go viral on your platform and everybody's platform. Binge watch all my back episodes, make it a Geno Jones Show binge watch weekend. And please leave your comments for this show and all of my shows, all of my back episodes. Leave your comments in the comments section, and like I said, spread the word. My goal is to get 1,000 new subscribers. I want to get 1,000 new additional subscribers by the end of the year. My goal is to get 100,000 by this time next year. Thank you, everybody. Mother, I see you. Thank you. I love you. I'll talk with you later. I know you say, it ain't never too late to call, baby, but I got to go host this event. So if it gets too late, I'll just call you early in the morning. All right, to back it up, Bingo Podcast. Okay, I see you there. All right there. Listen, everybody, thank everybody for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Please continue to spread the word about this show and my YouTube channel. Continue to tell everybody to subscribe to the channel and screen grab it and rip the videos and make it go viral, and leave in their comments. But more important, make sure that if you've already voted, they say, I got 5 on it. I got 5 on it. I got 5 in it. 5 in the car, 5 on it. Take 5 people with you. It was a song in the night. I got 5 on it. Somebody needs you to get 5 on it. Get on it and get 5 people to take to the polls and vote if you've already voted. And if you haven't, you can have 5 on it too. Take 5 with you and make it 6. Early voting in South Carolina ends on Saturday, next Tuesday, 96 hours away from history. Oh yeah, name it and claim it, speak it into existence. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Tuesday. As a matter of fact, so the next episode is going to be election night, Tuesday, November 5th. Programming note. I'm glad I mentioned that to you. So we'll see you on election day or election evening, 6:30 p.m. next Tuesday, November 5th, election day. We will be making history. I was going to say we will be about to make history. No, we are going to be making history next Tuesday night, and I'll be here live, and so we can experience it all together. Thanks, everybody.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.